Welcome back to the deep dive. Today we have something a little different on the table.
Yeah.
We're not digging into, global politics or the latest tech today. Instead, we're analyzing a kind of micro blueprint for learning.
Okay.
We've got some sources that lay out a really specific teaching strategy. It's aimed at A1, A2 level English learners.
Right. The beginner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's designed to help them get the hang of the past tense fast. And the interesting part, it's all built around a super simple theme, the daily routine.
Ah, okay. That's clever. So it's not just about the grammar itself.
No.
Our mission today, then, is kind of looking under the hood of this teaching method. We want to figure out why this particular structure works so well.
The structure being like contextualized,
Yeah.
short, lots of repetition.
Exactly. Why is that so effective for picking things up quickly? We want to, pull out the strategies here for getting that distinction between regular and irregular verbs down pat and building fluency.
Right. Okay, let's unpack this strategy then. Because the very first thing they did, choosing the daily routine in the past as the core idea, that seems, well, pretty fundamental.
It really is. Think about it. You're putting the practice into a context that's instantly recognizable. Imagining yesterday. Everyone does that.
So the brain doesn't have to work hard just to, set the scene.
Precisely. If you ask a beginner to talk about, I don't know, historical events or something complex, half their brain power is just wrestling with the topic itself.
William.
But the daily routine, what you did yesterday, that minimizes the cognitive load of the context. The structure's already there. Morning, afternoon, evening. It's chronological, familiar.
So the learner can just focus entirely on finding and using the right verb forms.
Yep. 100% focus on the grammar task. It gives them instant mental hooks to hang the new words on.
It's smart design, really. And the source material shows this off straight away. They give this really short, basic example sequence. Like yesterday, I woke up at 7 o'clock. I brushed my teeth, took a shower, and had breakfast.
Simple enough.
Then I went to work. 5 sentences. Feels totally normal.
But hang on, look closely at the verbs they picked just in that tiny snippet. That's where the clever teaching part comes in.
Ah, you mean how they mix the regular and irregular verbs right from the get-go?
Exactly. They don't, ease you in with just the easy ones first.
Yeah.
Brush becomes brush, that simple added rule.
Yeah.
No, it's immediately put side by side with the irregulars. Wake up to woke up, have to had, go to went.
So they're forcing you to deal with both types, the pattern and the ones you just have to memorize right from minute one.
Yes, it's a direct confrontation.
Why is doing both at once better? Wouldn't it be maybe easier to build confidence starting with just the regulars? Get that rule down first.
It sounds logical, right? Start easy. But actually, teaching-wise, that can be a bit of a trap.
How so?
Well, if you spend too long practicing only the regular rule, your brain can kind of lock onto that pattern too strongly. It fossilizes. Then, when the learner finally bumps into super common irregular verbs like go, eat, have what happens.
They try to add ed, like goad or eated.
Exactly. Their instinct is to apply the rule they know. So, by mixing them right away, the lesson is basically saying, look, the past tense has these two main ways of working. You need to start sorting verbs into these two mental buckets now.
Okay, that makes sense. It stops the brain from oversimplifying things too early. That distinction is the first critical step in their blueprint.
Right, that sorting mechanism.
So once they've set up that basic idea, regulars versus irregulars, the lesson moves right into what the sources call training the brain to think in English.
Ah, the active part.
Yeah. And this involves asking the learner a series of quick questions about their own day yesterday. And crucially, they have to answer out loud.
This is the active retrieval practice. It's not passive learning. And notice the questions they use, they're designed to make you use verbs covering the whole day.
Right, like, what time did you wake up yesterday?
Okay.
What did you eat for breakfast? Where did you go in the morning? Who did you talk to? What did you do in the evening?
You see the pattern there. Wake up irregular, eat irregular, go irregular, but talk. That's regular.
Ah, they're constantly switching it up, making your brain jump between the two types.
Constantly. And the sample answer they provide shows how it should sound when you put it all together.
Yesterday, I woke up at 8. I ate some eggs and bread. I went to the supermarket and I talked to my friend.
Okay, I see it. Woke up, ate, went irregulars, talked regular, all woven together.
And that immediate practice, that application, that's where fluency starts to build.
Yeah.
It's not just about knowing the rule, it's about using it.
Let's talk about that speaking aloud part, though. Even if you're alone, some people might feel a bit silly doing that, right? Or think just repeating it silently is okay. Is speaking it really that important?
That's a fair question. Look, if the only goal was, say, reading comprehension, maybe silent practice would be enough. Maybe. Yeah.
But if the goal is actual fluency, being able to speak and respond quickly, then yeah, speaking aloud is, I'd say, non-negotiable. It's the difference between just recognizing something passively and actively developing a skill.
A skill, like
Yeah,
a motor skill.
exactly like a motor skill. Think about learning piano or even coding. You can stare at sheet music or read programming guides all day long.
Right.
But until your fingers are actually on the keys, hitting the notes, or your hands are typing out that code, have you really learned the skill?
No, not really.
Speaking a language is physical. Your tongue, your mouth, they have to make the shapes. When you force yourself to say woke up instead of wake up, you're literally building and strengthening that neural pathway, the connection between the idea and the muscle movement.
So it's like muscle memory for your mouth.
Pretty much. You're training the whole system, not just your inner ear.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. It's rehearsing it until it becomes automatic. And of course, when you start rehearsing,
Mistakes happen.
inevitably. Which brings us to what might be the most useful part of this whole teaching blueprint. How they deal with common mistakes. The immediate correction.
Yes, the aha moments, or the system diagnostics, you could say. For that learner persona we're thinking about, the absolute fastest way to improve isn't just repeating the right way.
It's also clearly seeing where you went wrong.
Precisely, pinpointing exactly where the process breaks down. And the source material is really smart here because it zooms in on the, 3 biggest errors A1, A2 learners typically make with the past tense.
Okay, let's spend a moment on these because they reveal a lot about how we learn rules, I think. The first mistake they highlight is just forgetting to change the verb at all.
Right.
The example error is, yesterday I go to school.
And the fix, yesterday I went to school, seems simple, but what's the underlying issue it corrects? It's the beginner's assumption, often, that just saying yesterday is enough.
Ah, thinking the time word does all the work.
Yeah. This correction forces the realization. Nope, the verb itself has to change. It carries the past tense meaning.
Okay. Then mistake number 2. This one feels super common. Is when the learner knows something needs to change, but they apply the wrong rule. The classic, I eated pizza.
Ah, yes, false regularization. That's the brain's pattern-loving nature tripping it up.
How so?
The learner knows the main rule is add. And eat is such a common verb, they just, try to jam it into that pattern.
Makes sense.
So the correction, I ate pizza, forces that different pathway. It demands accessing that separate, memorized, irregular form. It's training the brain to override the automatic pattern when needed. That's a key skill for any complex system with exceptions.
It's like learning keyboard shortcuts, maybe. Most are Carrero plus something. But then there are those few weird ones you just have to memorize separately.
Exactly like that. You target the exceptions your brain really wants to smooth over.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, and the third error they list is similar to the first one, again about missing an irregular change. I sleep early yesterday.
Corrected to, I slept early yesterday. Again, reinforcing that same core principle.
So pulling it all together, the big takeaway from this correction section is basically, if you're talking about the past, the verb must change. You can't rely on just saying yesterday.
Absolutely. And catching those specific errors right away, targeting them, that's what stops a temporary slip-up from becoming a permanent bad habit. Huge difference.
Definitely. Okay, so that error correction part kind of cleans things up and sets the stage for the final piece of their lesson plan, which is moving beyond just drills.
And into more of a narrative flow.
Yeah, using a mini story.
Right. We've worked on the individual parts, the mechanics. Now it's about putting them together smoothly, building momentum. The source talks about this phase, helping learners get the rhythm of English.
Less focus on single word accuracy, more on fluidity.
Exactly.
And the story they use is simple, just a sequence of past actions stringed together like,
Yeah.
I woke up early and made coffee.
Mm-hmm.
Then I cleaned my room and listened to music. In the afternoon, I met my friend at the park. We talked for an hour and took some pictures. In the evening, I cooked dinner and watched a movie. It just flows.
And this story part does two really crucial things. First, yeah, it bundles lots of past tense verbs together in longer, more natural sentences, mimics how people actually talk.
Right.
But second, and this is the teaching strategy we need to spotlight, the learner is specifically told to repeat the story, sentence by sentence, mimicking the audio they hear.
Okay, the repetition strategy. Why is that better than, say, just reading the story silently or maybe writing it down?
Because it's about more than just the words. It's about absorbing the intonation, the pacing, the way words naturally chunk together in speech, that rhythm you mentioned.
Okay.
And when you just read a list of verbs, they're isolated.
Right.
But when you repeat, I clean my room, you're training your mouth and your ear to hear and produce that phrase as a single unit. The short verb forms sound natural because they're flowing within the phrase.
So it's like advanced muscle memory again, but applied to whole phrases, not just single words.
You got it. Applied to basic vocabulary, but in a way that builds towards natural sentence structure and sound.
Wow. Okay, so the whole lesson seems to come full circle, doesn't it? Starts by anchoring the concept in a familiar routine. Forces that key distinction between regular and irregular verbs.
Right.
Gets you practicing actively out loud.
Crucial step.
Immediately flags and corrects the most common errors,
Very targeted.
and then wraps up by embedding it all in a flowing narrative you repeat for rhythm.
It's a really elegant and efficient little blueprint for learning.
Yeah, it really is. A masterful plan for picking up a skill quickly. And honestly, there are probably lessons in there for learning almost anything, right? Not just language.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether it's language or coding or a sport or some complex software, the principles hold.
So thinking about you, the listener, what's the takeaway here? If you're on your own learning journey, this deep dive really highlights a few things. The power of using context, like that daily routine, to just lighten the mental load. The absolute necessity of active verbal practice to actually turn knowledge into a usable skill. It has to come out of your mouth.
Can't skip that.
And the huge value of getting that feedback quickly, zeroing in on where you're going wrong.
Targeted error correction, yeah, it accelerates everything.
And maybe we can leave you with the final thought that came out of looking at this material. It's less about finding some magic learning bullet.
Yeah, it's simpler than that, really. It's about the connection between volume and learning. Sheer engagement. The source material kind of boils it down to this: the more you speak, the more you learn.
Just generate the output.
Exactly. Generate those sentences or write that code or play those musical notes. Don't sit around waiting until you feel perfect. Just start doing it.
A perfect call to action. Thanks for diving deep into this surprisingly insightful little learning structure with us.
My pleasure. Until next time.